Morning, morning. I'm trying to be quiet because other people are sleeping, so this is how we fill up. I've already connected my hose with a special connection that we have for the motorhome onto here. We plug that into there, like that. This one you turn the tap on. Push the button. That fills the water onto there. Then, while that's filling, open there. Take out the cassette. Empty the waste. On this side, there's a tap for filling, so that allows us to put water into this tank just to give it a bit of a swill out. That'll do. Put the top back on again. Give it a swish around. Empty that. So that's had a wash. And then onto here we press that. Flushes it. Put the waste back in again. This is for refilling the toilet. So once that's full, we'll fill the toilet up and so it's down here. You let your drain go and then it runs off to there, over there. That's about it really. Well, we've arrived at the town called Colditz. We're at the car park. As you can see, like most car parks, you have your own motorhome in spaces. So that's pretty flat, doesn't look too bad. I think this gives us an opportunity to have a walk. I'm told there's a fair bit of walking to do, so we'll see. We've been following Google Maps, the walking part of Google Maps, which just took us on a little bit of a wild goose chase. Up some steep hills. We got to the gates for Colditz, but those gates are closed. One of the local residents, he came out and he pointed us in the right direction. So Google Maps is wrong on walking to it, but we have to turn right at the small sea, and I think this is what he means by a sea. I think what he means is lake, and Christine's already going there. Oh no, she's not. I thought she was going the wrong direction. So, let's put a bit of an extension on our Colditz journey, but never mind. We're on the approach now to Colditz Castle, so I would assume that the building on the right must have been the officers or maybe quarters for the staff, but that is Colditz Castle. Wow. Well, we'll take a look at the entrance in a moment. Wow. Wow. Does look like this on the film, I must admit. I mean, this is the courtyard. Don't think the underground bit would have been there, but wow. And that would have been the gates in, so you'd come through those gates into this courtyard. From here, which is one courtyard, and then we go through a second set of gates into a separate courtyard. There's a structure. Well, I think we only remember Colditz Castle for a prisoner of war camp, but actually there was some National Socialists were euthanised here in 1938, 1939. So they were brought here and killed. How they were euthanised, I have no idea. But there's a list of all those that died here. It wasn't just National Socialists that were euthanised here. The Nazi Party had a selection process, so anybody who was slightly inferior, maybe had something wrong with them, or some degenerative disease, or something like that, they were brought here because of overcrowding, and this is where they were killed. We'll put a better word on it. They kept people here for work duties as well, and if you were unfit for work, they sedated you, and then they started cutting your food rations until ultimately you died. So that was 1938, 1939. In May 1943, 6 prisoners were in solitary confinement. They were taken out onto the terrace for an hour every day to get fresh air. To this end, they were led through the guardhouse and emerged through the door on the right. After Flight Lieutenant Tom from Canada had passed through the door, he suddenly leapt over the parapet down to the lower terrace, twice grabbing window bars to break his fall. He climbed over 2 barbed wire fences and then jumped down into the park. However, he was unable to scale the wall and was apprehended. Back in August 1941, Flight Lieutenant Tom and Lieutenant Boosted from the UK had tried to escape from the park dressed in sports gear like members of the Hitler Youth, but they came across a German sergeant who gave them a good dressing down because they'd failed to salute him properly. The game was up when they were unable to answer his questions. This door off the terrace leads to the guardhouse. And also the stairs to go upstairs. On the walls are copies of graffiti that was done by the prisoners. So they're not the originals, but they are copies. I can tell it must be somebody who's British because they can't spell Welsh. This is a Dutch officer's uniform, belonged to Michael van der Hust. There's a radio that they would have tried to hide. So I think they actually hid in a roof space. That was a mock-up of it. This is a photo of the original. In 1993, builders discovered this. There's a radio and other equipment which was hidden in a cellar house attic. There's some photos from the camp theatre to which the prisoners put on shows, including Fata Morgana, A Man Who Came to Dinner, Ballet Nonsense, Rose, Gaslight, Pygmalion, and The Importance of Being Earnest. And apparently they were quite elaborate as well, some very elaborate costumes. Prisoners also put on their own Olympic games to reflect their national pride, played volleyball, handball, football, as well as chess and bridge. At the opening ceremony, athletes wore national costumes and carried flags. This parade was led by the Poles, who had come with the idea for the camp. So some of the things that the prisoners made was a fake rifle, which is made out of cardboard. There's a spirit level, a telescope, a dagger, and a measure. There's a blanket that was used. They put leaves and everything and sewn them onto them, and then they used them to hide in the woods, to hide underneath. There's a photograph of one. There's a photograph of another. You can hardly see it at all. Also, they made dummies. So this is a life-size dummy. Used to replace a Dutch officer on this one. While riding in the park beneath the blanket with leaves sewn into it. However, one of the dummies was discovered by the German officer during roll call. Quite cool. There's a photo here of when the prisoners liberated, so you can see the American troop there. I guess in the background must be one of the Scots Guards. This is a uniform jacket from AJH Bamfile from Rifle Brigade. And this is the uniform of Frederick Krumink. Prisoners also had access to a library. There's a few of the books that they could have written as well. And this is an oboe from Major Anderson. Sewing machine made by Lieutenant Hamilton. Very clever that. handmade hat for an escape purpose. Tins. And there's a Red Cross parcel. It's from New Zealand. Not sure what they are. Photos of some of the guards and their families. Some of the games and things they had. There's a sketch casket by a Polish officer, Adam Piskowski. Great drawing. And there's some equipment that they used in the construction of the tunnel. I think there's some signs that people that have been put up. Device for counting bags of rubble. So I suppose it's a bit like an homemade abacus type thing. Various tools that was used. A mouse trap used to switch off the electricity in the tunnel. Wow, look at that. Rope that's been made. It's obviously a searchlight. Scales. Some homemade tools, saw. POWs use absents such as bedsteads, pipes, floorboards, banisters and coat hooks to make their own tools. They employ gramophone, spring, knives and razors to fashion saw blades and cast screwdrivers, keys and needles in plaster moulds. Other tools and materials were smuggled in by MI9, a special division of the British War Office, or obtained by theft or bribery. It's a lathe. It's like record player springs. Spirit stove. Bellows and wire cutters. Blast furnace. Wow, I can't believe they even made blast furnace. Tool used to measure the inside of special Zeiss locks, compass, pick locks. Type bars for a typewriter. There's a German uniform. And their weapons. Hats and gear. And the pillars there are dye. German uniforms were made from POW uniforms or blankets, which were then dyed. These are made by the prisoners then. Well, Amy Neve attended college before studying jurisprudence at Oxford in February 1940. He was sent as a British officer to France, only to be captured, where in May, apprehended after breaking out of Stalag 20 near Thorn, he was transferred to Colditz. Avery Neve first escape attempt in 1941, disguised as a German officer, failed. It was only in January 1942 that he became the first Briton to make a home run from Colditz. In the latter years of the war, Neve used his expertise on escaping and off-flag IV as an intelligence agent for a War Office Department, MI9. He also wrote several books about the wartime experiences. After going into politics, he was elected a Conservative MP in 1953, and in the 1970s he was a close ally of Margaret Thatcher. There's an escape ladder. Model of a plane that they didn't get the chance to fly, but was almost complete before the war ended. It's a model of it. There's a picture of a guy called Michael Sinclair, dressed as Franz Joseph, who was a staff sergeant, a German staff sergeant. He dressed like him to try to escape. Climbed out of a window and down a rope, fled by the West Terrace. In the 60-second escape in which they both got as far as the Rhine, near the Dutch border. This is what would have been a typical locker, or is a locker that they would have used for inmates' personal private belongings. apparently the courtyard at the beginning, what we went through, isn't the courtyard. There's two. So the actual prisoners would have been in this courtyard. So this is the main one, where they would have exercised and such like. I'm not really sure how much of the building you can go into today, but I'll have a look. With my buddies, I've got Flight Lieutenant Parker, Lieutenant Commander Stevenson, Flight Lieutenant Dickinson. There is a chapel here, which we just can't get into. It's locked, but I'll do my best to film as much as we can of it. So that would have been the chapel. Most of the doors appear to be locked. However, this one's open. If we go inside. This room is dedicated to the Polish prisoners of war. And the texts that I'm going to show you basically come from an unpublished diary. So you might have to freeze the video if you want to read them. Great photos, pictures. So if you want to read them, just pause the video. Pictures are fantastic. Captain Master of Elphinstone. John was bagged with the British Expeditionary Force at Dunkirk. He was sent to Colditz in 1944. Here in his quarters he painted the painting to the right. which is this one. So, and this is the person that painted it. Wow, good painting. This is the biography of William Faithful Anderson. There he is. There again, you'll have to pause the video if you want to read it. The silent room. It's one of the original doors. It's behind like a glass door to preserve it, I think. What do you call it? Golden leather. So it would have been decorated in this golden leather on the walls. So all of this is pre-Second World War, so 1519 to 1525, so this is to do with the early years of the castle. Some of the findings that have been found here, dating back to the 1500s, 16th century. Just to show that it does have a past that goes back further than the Second World War. Okay. Turn this light on, and in here, like hidden in there, is a wall within a wall. The Dutch prisoners found this and had access to it from behind the toilets. That allowed them to get down to sort of ground level and dug about another 7 feet for themselves to get out. So look up here. Okay. That's all hidden. There's one of the lockers again that a prisoner might use for his personal belongings. Bed. Table and chairs. And a view with bars. Not really sure. I'm presuming this was for one of the prisoners. The courtyard again. It's on a bit of a slope, to be fair. It's not flat what you think it is. Anyway. Obviously some of this is quite new.
Sophia's chapel, this was. It was built in the 16th century, but they couldn't restore it to the 16th century because, it was just run down. And so they decided to refurbish it as it was in 1924. So that's what the prisoners of war saw when they came in here, is exactly what you see today. However, there is a picture of an angel up there that has survived hundreds of years, really, because the whole ceiling was full of angels. And you can see a picture here coming up in this, saying, the castle chapel. And you can see how it looked in the 16th century here. There's an animation film, that's what it looked like in those days, you see. Has been refurbished, but it isn't here because it's in the National History Museum of Nuremberg today, because it was financed privately, and so we have to pay too much money to have it back here. That's why it's only in Nuremberg today. But there's the picture again of that angel up there, you see, showing you. And you want to see the tunnel? The wine cellar, because there's a wine cellar, which is a couple of meters going in that direction. And they dug their way through volcanic rock and made their way up here. And then to save time, they dug, or let's say, sawed all the beams out here until the end up there and went down. And this tunnel is 44 meters altogether, but you can only see 22 meters of it because it stops practically at the other end there.
Wow.
And it's as deep as a well, so it goes right down, much deeper than this one.
Wow.
Yeah, and then they made their way under the elector's house, which is the big house practically, going that way, and never was successful in actually getting out because they were discovered before they could actually get out into the park. And so they took out altogether between 16 and 20 tons of rock, which is volcanic rock. You see, they dug through volcanic rock here. And it all went up to the 3rd floor and was hidden under the floorboards because the floorboards were quite high, so they were, pulling up the floorboards and hiding all the rocks under there. And it collapsed. The 3rd floor collapsed onto the 2nd floor because it was just too heavy for all these rocks. And they were found out. And before they could actually get out at the other end, and even if they had got out at the other end, when during the wartime, they'd have still been in the premises of the prison, so they wouldn't have actually got out into the park.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
So this is the tunnel that goes down here.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, this is 22 meters altogether, you see, but it is in fact double that amount. It goes right under this building here and comes out the other end. There is a hole there actually that you could see, but that's practically behind the gate, so you'd have to go and,
So they came from there.
Yes.
Up.
No, they
down.
They from down.
Yeah.
Came up
under the floorboards along here, under this floor,
under that floor, and then down
and then
there.
down there. Wow.
That's right.
How did they know where they were?
Well, they had plans of the castle. Plans of the castle, so they knew exactly where they were and what they were doing and where they would go.
Yeah.
But as I say, it was unsuccessful. Nobody actually got out. There were in fact 14 tunnels altogether in this area, because they were practically amongst themselves, all the prisoners of war.
Yeah.
So the French had this tunnel, the British had the aircraft upstairs, the Dutch had a tunnel over there in the elector's house, and they were all discovered somehow. All these tunnels were discovered, which is a shame.
We're going up to have a look at the glider now, so... Get out of breath.
These are the 2 books that they had in the library. The Germans let the 2 books come through because they didn't know what it meant. In actual fact, they could make plans of how to build it in the first place. And these are the plans, you see.
Are these the actual plans?
They are the actual plans.
Wow.
Yes. You could build it yourself if you wanted to with those plans. And here's the rest of the aircraft that flew in 2012.
Yeah, I saw the TV programme with them.
Yeah. Upstairs, let me know what you wanted to see. Where it was taken from upstairs here. You can see on the plan a red piece there. This is upstairs. You can't go up there, unfortunately, because it has to have 2 emergency staircases just in case of fire, like this one does, because this is built extra. They actually took the aircraft out there when they flew it from the roof. Because they weren't allowed to destroy the walls, so they had to put out the roof here. This was built later. But you've got another staircase over the back there, you see, so should there be a fire, we'll at least be able to escape safely.
So this was in the...
That was up here in pieces.
And the idea would have been to
bring it down
here and then...
built up, and then not fly it from here. This was just because the journalist took a photograph of it because they told her they wanted to fly, but it never did. So she's told them to take the pieces down, put it together, and she'd make a photograph or do a photograph of it. And that's this one here, you see. Okay. So it was photographed but never flown. So they it was stolen after the war as well. Somehow people got in. Yeah, not just that. Also the pipes of the organ were stolen as well. People needed to keep themselves warm in the winter time, so they were dismantling things like that to burn it all, you see, and that's what happened, because it was open here. Yeah. Anybody could come in and take what they wanted after they were liberated, and this was made quite a few years ago for demonstration purposes, just to show you what the aircraft looked like and the size of it, for example. But it was built according to the plans that you've just taken photographs of as well. So, yeah. Can I just? Sorry, I'll just have a. Wow, it's fantastic. I have seen a program about. Yeah. It was supposed to be for 2 people flying. Yeah, I've seen the program about the glider, and then I think they pull it out onto another roof, don't they? And then the idea. They would have put it together on the roof. You see, up there. This building's the wrong way round. Okay. Yeah, but they wanted to take the tables from their quarters and join them together somehow, either tie the legs together or whatever on the roof. Yeah. And then take the pieces out of the wall or through the wall onto the next roof, which is lower. Yeah. You know, build their ramp, put the pieces on the ramp like they did. That like you'll see in the film, because you'll see actually that they put the aircraft on the ramp together on the ramp. Yeah. Yeah. They didn't put it, pull it out the whole thing outside like through a wall. Yeah. They would have opened the wall and then put these pieces onto the ramp and had it built on the ramp. That was the idea. They did have like a pulley system, didn't they? From they did. From there, and then a weight that. Well, a bathtub full of cement. That was it, a bathtub full of cement. Yes, and the thing was, they only had one roller originally, but they needed 2 to make it actually fly off quicker. Okay. Because if with one roller, if the bathtub had just gone down, it would have been 1-to-1, and the aircraft would have just fallen off the roof. So they needed a second roller to speed it up across the runway there. Okay. Twice as quick, more or less, to make it roll twice as quick as along this runway, and then it would take off properly. And that's what happened when they did it here. You see, they didn't know this when they were building it. Obviously, because they were only thinking of one roller. It wasn't thought out completely, you see, that was the problem. Yeah. When they were there, when the prisoners were there. And they never experienced whether it actually happened or not. They died, he died in 2000, he in 2007, and he 2008. So, the aircraft that they built was in 2012, and they could prove that it would have worked if they had been alive to see it, but they never did, you see. Wow. Yeah. Such a shame that. It is, yeah. Wow. Do you want me to take a I'll just run around, a quick run around with the video of it. I'll just give me...
Wow. Fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. Amazing. There we go. Beautiful. This is Madame Brûlée. Now, there were no women in Colditz Castle, and Madame Brûlée was a prisoner. He got dressed up as a woman and he walked straight out the door. The guards just thought he was something to do with the commandant. How brilliant is that? So that was Colditz Castle. We've come out of the castle now. We're walking, well, we were walking down into the town. We're going to have a look in the church if we can get in it, if it's open. So looks a sleepy town actually, Colditz. Let's take a look in Colditz, the town church. Very pretty little church, not too ostentatious. There's the organ. Well, a not too over the top church. Nice. We'll have a little walk down now into Colditz town itself. I think like most towns in Germany have two parts to them. A modern part and an old town. I think this is more of the old town. I think the cobbled streets give it away. Hi, we're at a place, a town called Neustadt in Sachsen, I think they call it. This is a motorhome parking, some things on there. It belongs to this company called Capron, massive company on there. So it's this is the company car park, and at the back of it they've put this. So it's a free place to park. It's free electric, there's free water and waste just down there. There's some benches to sit at that somebody's made out of pallets, bin, everything you could want is here. I think Capron must have something to do with making motorhomes, because there's several at the back in the car park there. But this is free for you to stay in. Everything's free. Fantastic. There's the Sani station, so you empty your grey waste straight onto the floor, look, and then you push that button, that opens up for you to empty your toilet and such like, and I think you get your water and everything inside there.